Hi guys, I've successfully completed the Deep Learning Specialization course by Andrew on Coursera, and I'm here to tell you all the things you need to know about this course, the summary of the course, and so many things you need to know. So this video is categorized into 4 segments. The first one is the overview, and the second one is the prerequisites, the things you need to know about the course, and the third one is the pros and cons of this deep learning specialization, and finally, is it worth it? So at the end of this video, you'll get to know all these things right here and this moment. The deep learning specialization course is mainly for those who already have good knowledge of machine learning and have already understood how supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning works. And taking this course is like building on top of the knowledge you already have. However, if you are absolutely new to machine learning and AI, I would encourage you to take the machine learning specialization course by Andrew, which is actually amazing. Or you can also take the machine learning course from IBM, which is also remarkable. But I'm not just going to talk about that in this video. I'm basically going to talk about the deep learning specialization course. The deep learning specialization course is a remarkable and incredible course you must take. It is actually prepared by Andrew and his entire team, and you already know who Andrew is. However, if you do not know who Andrew is an adjunct professor at Stanford University, and he has worked in so many big companies like Google and other organizations. He has worked in diverse sectors ranging from ICT, finance, health, and so many others which I can't actually remember at the moment. And if you want to talk about who Andrew is an erudite professor. You can see him as an engineer, you can see him as a researcher. He has contributed immensely to the space of AI, and he has also worked tirelessly in democratizing AI. The deep learning specialization has 5 chapters. The first one is neural network and deep learning. In this chapter, you learn a lot about gradient descent, derivatives, you learn about forward propagation, backward propagation, you learn about hyperparameters, you learn a lot about loss functions, you learn about the different activation functions like the tan H, the ReLU, the sigmoid, the even leaky ReLU. You get to learn a lot about all these functions and how they actually work in neural networks and deep learning. And you also get to learn about hidden layers and also learn about the output layer, input layers. In neural network, you learn about the weight and bias, a lot of things which you will learn from this chapter. This chapter is segmented into 4 weeks, which you can actually take within 1 week and complete, depending on how busy you are or how your schedule is. It also has exercises, it has assignments, and it also has quizzes which you can actually take. The second chapter is improving deep neural network, hyperparameter tuning, optimization, and regularization. Here you get to learn a lot about how to fine-tune your model, know when your model has high bias, which is underfitting, know when it has high variance, which is overfitting, the things you need to do like regularization. You apply L2 regularization, you apply dropout, you apply early stopping, you set computational cost when the model is no longer performing well. You get to apply dropout, and you also get to apply data augmentation, a lot of things which you can learn from this part of the course. And the third one is structuring your machine learning project. In this chapter, you get to learn a lot about how you can structure your machine learning project, and this one is the shortest. It has just 2 weeks course, and exercise and assignment is very short, but I would still recommend you to take the course and pay keen attention to whatever Andrew says. And the fourth one is convolutional neural network. This is where it really gets interesting about computer vision, how you get to learn a lot about convolution. You learn a lot about padding, how to pad your images so that you do not lose important parts of the images while training the model. You get to learn a lot about also filters, applying different filters, and how all these things work in convolution. You also learn about object detection and verification system and face verification / recognition system. There is a fine and fuzzy line between recognition and verification, and this course Andrew will explain everything you need to know about verification and recognition. And finally, the last part is RNN, recurrent neural networks. This is the part that really gets interesting if you're the type that is in love with natural language processing. You learn about LSTM, you learn about GLOVE, you learn about word to vec. You also learn about transformer architecture and Attention is all you need, and many other architectures which will help you immensely. And that's all for the overview of the course. Now let's look into the prerequisites. What are the things you need to know? Firstly, you need to understand Python very well. You must be conversant with Python, because in here there's nothing like Java, nothing like JavaScript, C++, Rust, or C#. Everything is Python from the beginning till the end. You also need to be familiar with TensorFlow. TensorFlow is mostly used here. Andrew doesn't use PyTorch, even if you may know PyTorch, but I would recommend you to have good hands on TensorFlow before starting this course. And also you need to learn about mathematics. A lot of people ask, do I need to be an expert in math in order to take this course? Well, you do not need to be an expert in math, but it really makes sense if you have fundamental knowledge in mathematics and you're familiar with polynomials, quadratic, and you already know linear algebra, calculus, and probability and statistics. If you do not know linear algebra, I would recommend you to take a course from MIT on linear algebra playlist by Professor Gilbert. Professor Gilbert really nailed this course and it's actually amazing. It's a playlist that could span from maybe 1 day to 30 days depending on how your schedule is, and that is where I learned my linear algebra from, and also other resources, external resources, when I find it more difficult and complex. And also if you're also struggling with calculus, I would recommend Khan Academy. Khan Academy has been an amazing platform that I've used for my calculus, and it has been amazing and amazing and amazing. I don't know any other thing to say about that, but Khan Academy has been good, and Khan Academy can also save you when you're struggling with probability and statistics. So that's it. Another part of this is the pros and cons. What are the pros? What are the cons? Well, for the pros, and what I would say is that the course is actually well structured and is intense. That is it. It is well structured. Secondly, it is taught by an industry expert and who has experience, he has the knowledge, he has the capability to actually teach you all the things you need to know about deep learning and neural network. However, though he might not really go deeply into the practical aspect, but the theoretical knowledge alone is good enough to give you a better foundation in the world of AI, machine learning, or deep learning. Andrew never shies away from the mathematics. He's always there to break it down and explain it to you, even if you're not an expert or if you do not have knowledge about how those things work. He's going to explain it to you. Is it derivative? He will explain. Is it a slope? And trying to make you understand how it works, he's going to do that. And the cons, for the cons, I would say the course is really tricky. In some parts, the questions are very tricky that it will be difficult for you to really understand the right answer or even know the right answer if you do not have good understanding of that particular topic. And for the exercises, the assignment, some can be very complex such that the instructions given to you are just verbose. It's difficult for you to really understand, and it's difficult for you to really understand the problem come to talk of what you do next. And that's it for the cons, and that's all I have to say. And finally, is that worth it? So with all these my explanations and all the details I've given to you, the summary of Deep Learning Specialization course by Andrew, if I will allow you to answer this yourself, is it worth it? What would you say? Would you say no or yes? Well, if you say no, it is your choice, but for me, I would say 10 times, 100 times, as many as I can, that yes, it is really worth it. The course is really remarkable and incredible. To anyone who wants to deepen his understanding in deep learning, who wants to understand the intricacies, the concepts, and the underlying codes of neural networks and deep learning, I would highly recommend this course for the person to take.